the Hierophant. You are listening to your own inner voice. You have tapped into this deep knowing. It feels like, oh, I've always known this. A part of me always knew. And that is your guiding light now. You go within and connect with spirit. They're saying all the time, you walk with spirit now. Now there are moments where you go back unconscious, but generally speaking, you and spirit are walking hand in hand. Crossing you, we've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Four of Cups. There's a little bit of reservation about like the practicalities of things. There's this feeling of you don't want to deal with the boring parts. There's this need to have a clear plan forward, and you're having a hard time getting excited about the plan. It's like you're getting these inspiration from spirit, and you just want to go do those things, but it feels like there's practical matters that you need to address, and you can't seem to motivate yourself to do those practical things. For the past energy, we've got the Wheel and Five of Wands in reverse. So there was this destiny, this fate, this thing that couldn't be stopped, that happened. The wheel turned, and the turning of the wheel was this squashing of all competition. It feels like as the wheel turned for you, you just were lifted out of all competition. It's like you were what's the phrase, like head and shoulders above the rest. And it doesn't feel like this is something that took tremendous effort on your part. It was like, it feels like this floating effect where spirit came in and just lifted you up out of whatever it was that you were in, involving games and competition. For the immediate future, we've got the Fool. You're saying yes. You're taking this leap forward, and you're doing so fully trusting in the universe that not only do you have with you what you need, you're going to encounter the people that you need and the resources that you need going forward. In the mind space is Four of Swords, rest. Like it feels like this exhale, and you're like, okay, it's decided, it's done. And in the decision to rest and let go, you're just sitting back and waiting for spirit to do its part. It's like you realize in the mind space that you could have never assembled this anyways, that spirit needed to put this together. And so you're finally like, you've not thrown up your hands as like giving up. You've thrown up your hands like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. All right. All right. Yes, I will take a break. Yes, I will sit back and rest. Yes, I trust that all is unfolding and I'm protected. In the underlying, we've got Death and Ace of Cups. There's this final laying to rest anything that isn't love. It's like in the past, you were looking at things that weren't love, and you were trying to rearrange it to make it make sense, and trying to, like, you were telling yourself stories as to why people were behaving the way that they were behaving, and you were doing that in a manner to convince yourself uh, that they loved you when they didn't. And that's that's done. It's like you no longer get presented with cups of love that are poison and try to like add ingredients to make it safe. You're like, oh, what this is the antidote, and then it will be okay. No, the the shift that's happening on the subconscious level is that you no longer accept poison cups of love as, oh, this is the real thing, this is what I deserve, this is what love is. No, that's done and over. Right now you're showing up as King of Swords. King of Swords is intelligent. They have this vast network of knowledge and wisdom to pull from. And the King of Swords, they're going to cut through anything. Um, oh, excuse me. The King of Swords is cutting out all but essential communication. The King of Swords is coming in straight to the point, and they know that they have the law on their side. They know that they have spiritual authority on their side, and so you're just showing up of like just you're speaking just facts. Yeah, you're just speaking everything as is because you're speaking what you know. And some of the things that you know other people don't know, and you're not even bothering trying to explain it to them or to make it make sense for them because you know there's no point. That would be a waste of your time and energy. And so you're really limiting your communication with people. So they may say that you're being cold, um, cutting. Yeah, you're cutting straight to the point. Surrounding you, we've got the Two of Cups. It came out kind of sideways. Um, Two of Cups is divine union. Two of Cups is people coming together, both fully healed with an open heart, with pure intention. And in order for this to happen, each party has to love themselves. And so this is in your surrounding, and it's saying that what's it saying sideways? Oh, that your perception of what Two of Cups love is has has went sideways. That all of the love, all of the focus, all of the energy that you have always put into partnership, you're turning it back around onto yourself. And that there was a fear surrounding doing that. You feared being perceived as selfish. You feared that those connections would suffer as a result of that. And now you're recognizing, no, all of those any connections are only going to be benefited by your willingness to give to self, because it clears attachment, that you no longer have the attachment of another to feel okay within yourself, because you are self-regulating, because you are giving the love that you need to you. You have now more than enough to give to union. And there was a this misunderstanding in the past surrounding you where it was the opposite, that because it wasn't a true divine union, it was always taking more from you. and that there's a shift and a rearrangement that's happening regarding union. Hopes and fears is Ace of Swords. The truth. Aha. Light bulbs. You know the truth now. And you also no longer fear the truth. Um, you also understand the power of truth, because truth isn't about words. Truth is about the feeling. What I mean by that is truth is undeniable by those that can feel truth. And so there's nothing to fear about words being spoken that are not true, because those that truly can hear, which is through the heart space, will know always truth, will know truth. You're walking in your truth. You're speaking your truth. You're being your truth. Your truth is undeniable because it's felt. Outcome, we've got 10 of Wands and Justice. 10 of Wands. The reason I'm excited is it's heavy burdens, but it's the end. The end. This woman, I don't know if you can see her, she's got all of her stuff packed up on the back of this animal I don't recognize. And she's just tired. Her hair's all disheveled from blowing in the wind. Um, she's carrying all of these burdens, but within the burdens, she also has 10 wands. And it feels like on the journey, each one of those wands that she picked up is something that she's going to use when she gets to her destination. And that destination is here right now. You're at the end of the heavy burdens, and all of those burdens are being used now to create. And this is karmic justice. This is spirit stepping in and putting things right. This is you having your day in court. This is you with a windfall. This is you being seen. And what's being seen is you're exactly who you said you are. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and people are witnessing this, and in the witnessing of this is their karma. Okay, you want to know more? What do we want clarifiers? Yes. Okay, we'll start back at the beginning. The Hierophant. Give me more information about this Hierophant. You're tapping into your inner voice. You are walking with spirit. That is what is guiding you. That is what really lights you up. Six of Wands. When you do this, you're creating with your divine gifts. You're stepping into the light and being seen, and anytime you do that, you're going to be victorious, because you're working in love, because you're following your destined path, because this is light within you that cannot be contained. Crossing, we had the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and Four of Cups, this like boredom, and boredom about everyday responsibilities, boredom's about things regarding responsibility with Pentacles. And it came out with Ace of Wands in reverse, or excuse me, Ace of Cups in reverse. They're saying when you love yourself first, you no longer will view those everyday responsibilities as bored or mundane. You're going to view them as the opportunity to love yourself. You need to shift your perspective a little bit, so those aspects that you kind of dread of your life. So this may be if you're running a business, running the numbers, making sure taxes are in order. This could be if you're taking care of a household, cooking and cleaning. Um, it's like the mundane things they want you to look at as an opportunity to love yourself, as an opportunity to love this version of you and to create for the future version of you. And that if you can go through that shift in mindset, you no longer are going to be looking at those boring things as boring. You're going to kind of cast this energy of excitement towards it, of I'm so grateful that I get to do this, that I see that I'm working towards something bigger. For the past energy, what was the wheel? Justice again, 9 of cups, and the world. What happened when spirit came in is you got your wish fulfillment, and you got justice. You completed a cycle of healing where you realize you are whole and complete. You realize that you have everything that you need. You realize that you're the holder of your own light. What are you taking a leap? What's the Fool about? 3 of Swords in reverse. Your leap of faith is I'm willing to lay this heartache to rest. Your leap of faith is I am willing to let that version of me go. Knowing that I'm not letting any part of me die, I'm pulling that version of me into present moment awareness. And that when I do that, the world that wounded version lived in disappears. It feels like heartache became, they're showing me candy. They're showing me Reese's Pieces, that you found comfort in revisiting the heartache. You self-soothed by looking at old heartache. And in the immediate future with the Fool, you're taking a leap on yourself and saying, I don't need that habit anymore. I'm willing to take a risk and see what happens when I stop doing that. That's too many. Try again. Let's clarify for the 4 of Swords, this resting period. 9 of Wands. The reason that you need to rest is you've been a wounded warrior. You've been through it, and you've learned in that how to establish boundaries. And you've also got this grit and determination about you. And they're saying you are safe to rest because of the boundaries that you've put in place, that there are now spiritual boundaries protecting you, and that you don't have to fear going into rest. So for some of you, you may have been having nightmares or dreams where you were experiencing spiritual attack, and they're saying you now have spiritual protection and you're safe to actually sleep, to actually rest. That the energies that were following you into dream space will no longer have access to you. And because you're going to be getting true rest, what's going to happen because of true rest? Oh, that there's going to be this knitting together of your heart space in true rest. clarifying the underlying was the death of accepting poison, cups of love. We've got the Emperor, King of Swords again, and the Devil. This is giving me another energy of like a bouncer at the door. The Emperor runs the whole kingdom. The Emperor doesn't have the luxury of being overly emotional, because making decisions from an emotional state could be detrimental to the empire. So in the underlying, in this rearrangement of the concept of what love is, King of Swords is being, again, very cold and cutting with any devil energy. Oh, they're saying the subconscious, you're being, because devil energy is self-created, you're being really kind of cut and dry with yourself. Of nope, that's not self-love. Yeah, you could eat all of that, but that's not what someone that loves themselves would do. We're gonna love ourselves enough to go get in a workout. We're gonna love ourselves enough to read a book instead of doom scrolling. On the subconscious level, you're identifying the parts of yourself that haven't been loving yourself. And it's not self-criticism. It feels like King of Swords is doing it from a very intellectual level of, you know that data shows XYZ. You understand that if we do this, this, and this, we could rewire our brain. You're doing it, you're approaching yourself and your old habits with very logical thinking uh, of data. You're no longer like bullying yourself into submission to make change. You're just coming in and presenting yourself data of, okay, this is what we want. Is what you're doing right now giving us what we want? And you're trying to steer you into this version of self that you know that you deserve. I don't think we need to clarify. I think that's what the King of Swords energy is that we talked about earlier. It's like you're becoming the King of Swords with yourself. Like you're trying to out manipulate, mastermind yourself, and you're doing it with data. Clarifying the Two of Cups, we got the Magician. You're recognizing that within connection, you you show up with the magic. Not that the other person doesn't also have their own magic, but you're actually using it for the greater good. You're actually showing up in the energy that you want to create within union. Tell me more about this Ace of Swords. The truth. The truth. And nothing but the truth. Ace of Swords. Strength. The truth is, you're powerful. And the strength that you have is quiet, graceful, subtle, unexpected. It feels like you're keeping that under wraps. It feels like you know that your strength only needs to come out when spirit calls it out. It feels like you're holding your truth, meaning you're not speaking your truth, because you realize that it is your power. And there are also people that know that you speaking your truth is really powerful, and they're hoping you don't speak your truth about them. Okay. Clarify this justice. The Empress. the Empress. She brings she brings into this world her creation. She births things anew, and she does so effortlessly. She does so because she can't not do so. You're the Empress. You've mastered all your queens, and you are bringing into this world exactly what you were destined to create.